Hi, this is Andrew again. This video is the second in a multi-part video series on the growth of Muslims on the European continent. In the prior video, we discussed the current makeup of Muslims in the different countries in Europe. In this video, we will discuss some of the projections that have been made on the expected growth of Muslims in Europe. Projecting future religious demographics involves significant methodological challenges. 1. Data limitations. Most European countries do not collect official statistics on religious affiliation, forcing researchers to rely on proxies like country of origin, nationality, and self-identification surveys. 2. Definitional issues. Who counts as Muslim? Those who self-identify as Muslim? Those with Muslim cultural backgrounds? Those actively practicing Islam? Different definitions yield different population counts. 3. Generational change. Assimilation and secularization patterns affect religious identification across generations. Some descendants of Muslim immigrants identify as culturally Muslim but religiously unaffiliated. 4. Policy uncertainty. Future immigration policies remain unpredictable and can dramatically alter demographic trajectories. 5. Conversion fluctuations. Religious conversion patterns are difficult to predict and may vary significantly over time. Despite these challenges, demographers have developed various projection models based on different assumptions about future immigration, fertility, and identification patterns. Under medium migration scenarios, France's Muslim population could reach 12 to 15% by 2050. Higher projections of 18 to 20% assume continued immigration at current or elevated levels. The timeline for potential Muslim majority status in France extends well beyond 2100 under most scenarios, with some projections suggesting it could occur between 2150 to 2200 if current trends continue without policy changes. However, as the Muslim population increases, it will impact what France and other countries are willing to support when it comes to Middle East politics and support of Israel. Key factors influencing French projections include: 1. Secular integration. France's strict secularism may accelerate religious disaffiliation among second- and third-generation Muslims. 2. Urban concentration. Muslims are heavily concentrated in urban areas, which typically have lower fertility rates than rural areas. 3. Economic integration. The degree of economic mobility among French Muslims will significantly influence family size decisions. Germany's Muslim population is projected to reach 10 to 12% by 2050 under medium migration scenarios. Higher projections of 15 to 18% assume continued refugee flows and family reunification. Potential majority status would likely not occur until after 2200 under most plausible scenarios. Key factors for German projections include: 1. Aging population. Germany's rapidly aging native population creates labor needs that may sustain immigration. 2. Integration policies. Germany's approach to integrating Muslim communities will significantly influence identification and fertility patterns. 3. EU freedom of movement. Germany's position within the EU allows for secondary migration from other European countries with growing Muslim populations. The UK's Muslim population is projected to reach 8 to 10% by 2050 under current trends. Higher projections of 12 to 15% assume continued immigration from South Asia and the Middle East. Potential majority status would likely not occur until well after 2200. Key factors for UK projections include: 1. Commonwealth connections. Historical ties to Muslim-majority Commonwealth countries may sustain immigration. 2. Multicultural model. The UK's approach to multiculturalism may support stronger religious identity retention compared to assimilationist models. 3. Educational attainment. Improving educational outcomes among British Muslims may accelerate fertility convergence with the general population. Sweden presents a more accelerated demographic trajectory, with projections suggesting its Muslim population could reach 15 to 20% by 2050 under current trends. This faster growth reflects Sweden's higher per capita immigration rates and generous asylum policies. Potential majority status might occur between 2,100 to 2,150 if current trends continue. Key factors for Swedish projections include 1. Humanitarian immigration. Sweden's commitment to refugee resettlement creates higher immigration rates than many European peers. 2. Welfare model. Sweden's comprehensive welfare system may reduce economic incentives for larger families among Muslim immigrants. 3. Segregation patterns. The degree of residential segregation will influence cultural retention and fertility patterns. The growing Muslim presence in Europe raises important questions about social cohesion and national identity. Different European countries have adopted varying approaches to managing religious diversity. 1. French secularism. France's strict separation of religion and public life prohibits visible religious symbols in government institutions, creating tensions with some Muslim practices. 2. British multiculturalism. The UK has historically accommodated religious diversity through faith schools, religious holidays, and community representation. 3. German integration model. Germany has emphasized language acquisition and civic education while allowing for religious expression. These different approaches produce varying outcomes for Muslim integration and identity formation. Research suggests that countries with more accommodationist policies tend to experience better socioeconomic outcomes for Muslim populations. As Muslim populations grow, their political representation has increased, though it generally remains proportional to population share rather than exceeding it. Muslim politicians have gained prominence at local, national, and European levels, particularly in countries with longer histories of Muslim immigration. The emergence of Muslim voting blocs has influenced political discourse around immigration, foreign policy toward Muslim-majority countries, and religious accommodation. Some political parties have specifically courted Muslim voters, while others have adopted positions critical of immigration and multiculturalism. The growing Muslim presence has transformed European cultural landscapes through 1. Religious architecture. Mosques and Islamic centers have become features of many European cities, sometimes generating controversy over architectural styles and community integration. 2. Culinary influence. Halal food options have become widely available, and Muslim cuisines have been integrated into mainstream European food cultures. 3. Media representation. Muslim characters and perspectives have increased in European media, though often with mixed portrayals. 4. Fashion trends. Modest fashion has emerged as a significant market segment, with both Muslim and non-Muslim consumers. These cultural expressions reflect both integration processes and the maintenance of distinct religious identities. The United States has experienced similar demographic trends, though with different historical trajectories and population distributions. The American Muslim population is estimated at 3.5 to 4 million, approximately 1 to 1.2% of the total population, significantly smaller than in most Western European countries. Key differences between European and American Muslim populations include 1. Socioeconomic status. American Muslims generally have higher educational attainment and income levels than their European counterparts. 2. Ethnic diversity. American Muslims are more ethnically diverse, with significant South Asian, Arab, African American, and white American convert populations. 3. Geographic distribution. American Muslims are more dispersed geographically, with significant communities beyond traditional immigrant gateway cities. 4. Immigration history. American Muslim immigration has been more continuous and less tied to colonial relationships. The American Muslim population is projected to reach 2.1% of the U.S. population by 2050, approximately double the current percentage. This growth trajectory is slower than in most Western European countries due to lower immigration rates relative to population size and faster fertility convergence. The United States differs from Europe in several key aspects. 1. Immigration selection. U.S. immigration policies have historically favored skilled workers and family reunification, resulting in a Muslim population with higher average education and income levels. 2. Assimilation patterns. The American model of assimilation has proven more effective at integrating religious minorities into the mainstream culture. 3. Geographic distribution. Muslim Americans are more widely dispersed across the country rather than concentrated in specific urban areas. 4. Religious landscape. The United States has a more competitive religious marketplace, which may accelerate secularization among Muslim populations similar to patterns observed among other religious groups. Despite these differences, the United States faces similar questions about religious accommodation, cultural integration, and identity politics as its Muslim population grows. European countries have adopted diverse approaches to integrating Muslim populations with varying degrees of success. 1. French assimilation model. France's approach emphasizes republican values and secularism, expecting immigrants to adopt French cultural norms while abandoning distinct religious identities in the public sphere. This model has faced challenges with Muslim populations who often maintain strong religious identities. 2. British multiculturalism. The UK has historically accommodated religious and cultural differences through policies like faith schools, religious holiday accommodations, and community representation. Critics argue this approach has created parallel societies rather than integrated communities. 3. German integration model. Germany has focused on language acquisition, civic education, and labor market integration while allowing for religious expression. This approach has evolved from the earlier guest worker mentality that assumed temporary residence. 4. Scandinavian welfare models. Nordic countries have combined comprehensive welfare provisions with expectations of participation in secular society. Recent years have seen tensions as Muslim populations have grown rapidly through asylum migration. These different approaches produce varying outcomes for socioeconomic integration, religious identity retention, and cultural accommodation. Research suggests that countries with more accommodationist policies often experience better economic integration, but sometimes stronger religious identity retention. The demographic transformation has sparked significant political responses across Europe. 1. Right-wing populism. Parties critical of immigration and multiculturalism have gained electoral support across Europe, often focusing on Muslim immigration as a particular concern. 2. Policy restrictions. Several countries have implemented restrictions on religious symbols, Islamic practices, and immigration from Muslim-majority countries. 3. Security concerns. Terrorism incidents involving Muslim extremists have heightened security concerns and sometimes led to policies perceived as targeting Muslim communities. 4. Cultural debates. Questions about national identity, secularism, and cultural values have become central to political discourse in many European countries. These political dynamics reflect broader tensions about globalization, national identity, and social change that extend beyond religious demographics. Current projections suggest that Europe's Muslim population will continue to grow through 2050 and beyond, though the rate of growth may slow as fertility rates converge and immigration patterns change. By 2100, Muslims could constitute 15 to 20% of Europe's population under medium migration scenarios, with higher projections under continued high immigration. The timeline for potential Muslim majority status in individual European countries varies considerably. 1. France. Under current trends, France could reach a Muslim majority between 2150 to 2200, though this timeline extends significantly if immigration restrictions are implemented or fertility convergence accelerates. 2. Germany. Germany's path to Muslim majority status would likely extend beyond 2200 under most plausible scenarios, given its larger starting population and more restrictive immigration policies compared to France. 3. United Kingdom. The UK's Muslim population would likely not reach majority status until well after 2200 under current trends, due to lower immigration rates relative to population size. 4. Sweden. With its higher per capita immigration rates, Sweden could potentially reach Muslim majority status between 2100 to 2150 if current trends continue without policy changes. These projections are highly sensitive to policy decisions, economic conditions, and global events that influence migration patterns. They also depend on assumptions about fertility convergence, religious identification, and assimilation processes. If current demographic trends continue over the coming decades, several potential transformations may occur. 1. Religious landscape. Islam could become the second largest religion in most European countries, potentially challenging Christianity's historical dominance in the public sphere. 2. Political representation. Growing Muslim populations may gain increased political influence, potentially affecting foreign policies toward Muslim-majority countries and domestic religious accommodation policies. 3. Cultural expression. Islamic cultural practices, holidays, and norms may become more visible and integrated into mainstream European culture. 4. Legal systems. Questions may arise about the compatibility of certain Islamic legal principles with European legal traditions and human rights frameworks. 5. Social cohesion. Challenges to social cohesion may emerge if integration efforts fail to bridge cultural and religious divides. These potential transformations will be shaped by policy decisions, economic conditions, and the willingness of both Muslim and non-Muslim populations to find common ground in increasingly diverse societies. Several policy interventions could significantly alter current demographic trajectories. 1. Immigration restrictions. Stricter immigration policies could reduce Muslim population growth, though they might also create labor shortages in economies with aging native populations. 2. Integration programs. Enhanced integration efforts could accelerate cultural assimilation and potentially reduce fertility rates more quickly among Muslim populations. 3. Family policies. Pronatalist policies targeting native populations could offset demographic imbalances, though such policies have had limited success in most developed countries. 4. Education initiatives. Educational programs emphasizing shared civic values rather than religious differences could promote social cohesion. These policy options involve trade-offs between demographic concerns, economic needs, and social cohesion objectives. Several unforeseen developments could alter current demographic trajectories. 1. Economic transformations. Automation and artificial intelligence may reduce the need for immigrant labor, potentially changing immigration patterns. 2. Climate change. Environmental disruptions in Muslim-majority countries could accelerate migration to Europe, potentially increasing population growth beyond current projections. 3. Political developments. Major political changes in Muslim-majority countries could either increase or decrease migration pressures on Europe. 4. Social movements. Religious or secular movements within Muslim communities could significantly alter identification patterns and fertility behaviors. These uncertainties highlight the limitations of long-term demographic projections and the importance of flexible policy approaches. The demographic transformation of Europe represents one of the most significant social changes in the continent's recent history. The growth of Muslim populations through immigration and higher birth rates is reshaping cultural, political, and social landscapes across the region. While projections vary considerably depending on assumptions about immigration, fertility, and identification, all scenarios suggest that Muslims will constitute an increasingly significant share of Europe's population throughout the 21st century. This transformation presents both challenges and opportunities for European societies. Challenges include potential social tensions, cultural conflicts, and questions about national identity. Opportunities include cultural enrichment, economic dynamism, and the revitalization of societies facing demographic decline. The future relationship between Muslim populations and European societies will depend largely on policy decisions made in the coming years. Approaches that balance respect for religious diversity with promotion of shared civic values offer the best prospect for social cohesion in increasingly diverse societies. Ultimately, Europe's demographic transformation reflects broader, global trends of population movement and religious change. How European societies navigate these changes will provide important lessons for other regions facing similar demographic transitions in an increasingly interconnected world. 3. Cultural expression. Islamic cultural practices, holidays, and norms may become more visible and integrated into mainstream European culture. 4. Legal systems. Questions may arise about the compatibility of certain Islamic legal principles with European legal traditions and human rights frameworks. 5. Social cohesion. Challenges to social cohesion may emerge if integration efforts fail to bridge cultural and religious divides. These potential transformations will be shaped by policy decisions, economic conditions, and the willingness of both Muslim and non-Muslim populations to find common ground in increasingly diverse societies. Several policy interventions could significantly alter current demographic trajectories. 1. Immigration restrictions. Stricter immigration policies could reduce Muslim population growth, though they might also create labor shortages in economies with aging native populations. 2. Integration programs. Enhanced integration efforts could accelerate cultural assimilation and potentially reduce fertility rates more quickly among Muslim populations. 3. Family policies. Pronatalist policies targeting native populations could offset demographic imbalances, though such policies have had limited success in most developed countries. 4. Education initiatives. Educational programs emphasizing shared civic values rather than religious differences could promote social cohesion. These policy options involve trade-offs between demographic concerns, economic needs, and social cohesion objectives. Several unforeseen developments could alter current demographic trajectories. 1. Economic transformations. Automation and artificial intelligence may reduce the need for immigrant labor, potentially changing immigration patterns. 2. Climate change. Environmental disruptions in Muslim-majority countries could accelerate migration to Europe, potentially increasing population growth beyond current projections. 3. Political developments. Major political changes in Muslim-majority countries could either increase or decrease migration pressures on Europe. 4. Social movements. Religious or secular movements within Muslim communities could significantly alter identification patterns and fertility behaviors. These uncertainties highlight the limitations of long-term demographic projections and the importance of flexible policy approaches. The demographic transformation of Europe represents one of the most significant social changes in the continent's recent history. The growth of Muslim populations through immigration and higher birth rates is reshaping cultural, political, and social landscapes across the region. While projections vary considerably depending on assumptions about immigration, fertility, and identification, all scenarios suggest that Muslims will constitute an increasingly significant share of Europe's population throughout the 21st century. This transformation presents both challenges and opportunities for European societies. Challenges include potential social tensions, cultural conflicts, and questions about national identity. Opportunities include cultural enrichment, economic dynamism, and the revitalization of societies facing demographic decline. The future relationship between Muslim populations and European societies will depend largely on policy decisions made in the coming years. Approaches that balance respect for religious diversity with promotion of shared civic values offer the best prospect for social cohesion in increasingly diverse societies. Ultimately, Europe's demographic transformation reflects broader, global trends of population movement and religious change. How European societies navigate these changes will provide important lessons for other regions facing similar demographic transitions in an increasingly interconnected world. The United States, while experiencing similar trends on a smaller scale, faces many of the same questions about religious accommodation, cultural integration, and identity politics. The American experience with integrating immigrant religious groups offers potential lessons for European countries. Those significant contextual differences limit direct comparisons. As Europe continues to demographically transform, the continent's ability to maintain social cohesion while respecting diversity will significantly influence its future prosperity and stability. The decisions made today will shape Europe's demographic landscape for generations to come. This brings us to the end of the second video in the series on Muslims in Europe. To watch the next video in the series, go to our rumble.com or youtube.com channels. To watch more videos like this one, you can go to our website at nehemiahreset.org, to our rumble.com or youtube.com channels. We publish new videos weekly. You can also sign up to receive our weekly new video list by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and sign up for our weekly newsletter. To help our channel, please like and subscribe so that more people can see these important videos. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Are you looking for a limitless supply of insightful reads to expand your mind and transform your life? Look no further than Nehemiah Reset's ebook library, where knowledge meets inspiration at nehemiahreset.org ebook. Go there today to discover a wealth of valuable resources to help you on your personal and professional journey to build a biblical worldview. Learn more about the Bible and how culture is impacting your worldview. Again, the ebook library is located at nehemiahreset.org ebook. Hope to see you soon. My name is Andrew. I am one of the spokespersons for Nehemiah Reset. The prior video was sponsored by Nehemiah Reset, a 501c3. Our mission is to assist Christians in developing a biblical worldview as it pertains to relevant cultural and biblical issues. We seek to inform Christ's followers, equip them, and mobilize them in action to vote for their biblical values and actively engage in our We are also committed to help Christians and non-believers to develop a better biblical view. Nehemiah Reset produces videos and ebooks to assist members of the church in developing a biblical worldview when it comes to cultural issues. We produce videos on key topics like public school indoctrination, the woke agenda, sex education, equity and inclusion, climate change, immigration, religious freedom, and much, much more. To learn more about Nehemiah Reset or to watch our latest videos, go to our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. We produce 2 to 3 videos every week. To get a weekly list of our latest videos, sign up for our weekly newsletter by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and subscribe. You can support our website by liking our videos, subscribing to our channels, or helping us reach more people through tax-exempt donations. Thanks for your help in growing God's kingdom and bringing more people to Christ. Thank you for your support and help. Come back again soon. Have a great day.